Now, before we went on that break, we were having a conversation on prospects of the labor market and how employers and employees can have relationship and enhance productivity at the workplace. We want to know the future of work in Nigeria and everywhere around the world. I will not have this conversation alone this morning. I have with me Bola Bile Somi. She is a corporate trainer and a chartered fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personal Development, United Kingdom, and she's also a member of council for CIPM Nigeria. If you go on social media, you see a lot of millennials complaining about how difficult it is for them to concentrate and work 9 to 5 when let's use Lagos, for example. We already know Lagos is the hub of traffic. And in the morning, afternoon, evening, night, even at midnight, you will experience traffic. And a lot of people have to get to work 9 o'clock, sometimes 8, sometimes as early as 7 a.m. They stay for 8 hours doing a lot, but they are not putting in their best. They are not able to put in their best because of all the stress they have gone through. So how can employers enhance productivity in this current dispensation without using the regular technique that they use?
Well, I need to say that this part of the world is still lagging behind in some initiatives that have been in England and in America for such a long time. And one of those ones is remote working from home.
All right.
Part-time work, flexible working hours. We say we have flexible working hours, but you can choose to work from home. In England, even 20, 25 years ago, we choose days that we say we're working from home, but we're disciplined enough to work from home. And automation, I don't see how we have all this technology and all of us have to go to the workplace at the same time and leave the workplace at the same time. Let me put this to you.
All right.
I don't think that people that go to work 9 o'clock and come back at 5. Pareto principle talks about 80-20. They are only given 20% productivity. Let me break it down for you. For somebody who's going to work, most times now, people leave their home 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. To get to the workplace. And some of them don't get back, especially Lagos. I'm using Lagos as an example. And they don't get back probably 10, 11. 10, 11.
Yes.
They've not had a good night's sleep in the first place. They get to work stressed up. They start the work. Because people go to the work at 9 and sit there, if you take a diary and look at what is being done at that time, because that's what we always tell people to do, just get a journal out and write what you're doing. It's been proven that the work is probably about 30%. Let's take that traveling time out, that somebody has their full rest and they work from home. And they work from home. But there's a caveat to what I'm saying.
All right.
You don't have to get up and go to in the workplace. You wake up at a certain time and you start working. You work for certain hours, you take a break, you go back to it. Because it's your environment, and because you have that luxury of not going out, it gives you an extra impetus to do more. The caveat, though, and I have to be sincere here, is that we are in an environment that people are not disciplined. So most employers are afraid that if we give people that opportunity, it would be abused.
Misused and taken for granted.
So do we have a culture where we can do that? I'll give you another example. When I was in England, as an HR practitioner, we always liked having 2 part-time people rather than have 1 full-time. Because the part-timer comes in and gives us their full attention for the hours that they come in.
Okay.
The other 2 comes in because they have other things that they're doing and they know they have to give. We found out that productivity is almost twice 2 part-timers as opposed to 1 full-time. Because there's complacency when you're a full-time, you know. I come here every day, so I know what I have to do, and, you know, there's a bit of slack. We don't even do part-time work in this part of the world. It's not even, and culturally, probably we may believe that a part-timer, I still have access to their time, full-time. So, but in England, if you're part-time, it's only the hours that you work that we are entitled to that time.
Yeah.
After that time, we're not entitled to it. So there's a lot of acculturization. Because if we have a smartphone and we have a laptop and we have a server at work, why can we not work from home? Why can't we do a pilot? Why don't we have part-time work in this part of the world? Why does it have to be full-time? And another thing that has evolved now is because we have technology, employers have access to you 24/7.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's
we
very
talked about
true.
the positive side of technology.
And the negative.
And the negative side.
Yes.
And anybody can send you a mail at any time of the night.
You're expected to respond.
You're expected to respond. And if you can't respond at that particular time, they expect you that once you see the mail, you respond. So you find out that technology has crept in slowly too. So you have the advantages and you have the disadvantages. But in terms of productivity, we should, I'll give you another example.
All right.
When somebody comes for training, if they're a senior person, they have left their office, they have left their computer, they have left some resources there that are not being used by other people. It's dormant.
That's
A lot of organizations should look at the fact that why should somebody have an office?
Okay.
Why? Because it's wasted space. And that's what is happening abroad. That the days you work from home, you just come in and you say the days that you're actually going to work, so that every space is being utilized. We do not do that. We're not cost effective. Because when I ask people in the workplace, I said, your office, what's happened? They said it's locked. That's
Right.
wasted space, wasted machinery, wasted, which can help the bottom line. So come in, do your work, and go.
I want an office, and I want a space where I can actually focus, do my work, and go home. But then you said something about it being a waste of space. So what happens?
Yeah, you want an office because an office is aspirational. When you have an office, you have reached a certain level.
Goal, yes.
Yes, and that is because of where we are here. Because over time in England, I have been here for quite some time now, but we were doing away with offices.
Okay.
Because we felt, one, make it open plan so that we work together as a team. We can walk up to anybody because the office closes people out so that you can walk up to anybody. The MD, CEO, and the senior people somehow need an office, probably because of the type of jobs they do.
All right.
But on the other hand, do they really need one? If you really want to bond with your team, do you really need an office? You can just have a space.
Okay.
I know I'm talking extreme here, but it's the mindset that we have to have. And you said, what can we do? I feel MDs, CEOs, senior people should really look at the people they have and set the pace that they want to see. What do you want to see? And set that pace and do an acculturization.
All right.
Retrain people on how to think. I'm glad you said you need an office. It's because you, like I said, it's aspirational.
Yeah, it's aspirational.
When you have an office, you've arrived. You have your name on the door, and that's it. But if you had grown up in an environment where your MD sits
same space as you were sitting.
Same space as you were sitting.
All right.
It becomes something that you don't think about. And it's not that we have these grandiose ideas, but I feel that when you can see the owner of a company with you in the same space, it changes your perspective of things. And people can read from you. If you look at all these new technological companies, it's an open space for everybody. Go to Google, go to Apple. It's an open space for everybody. And I believe that's where creativity comes from. And you can see somebody who's productive. You have to understand this.
All right.
It's not everybody that comes to work that is productive.
True. Very
and
true.
activity is not productivity.
Okay. That's something I'd like you to actually explain.
Because some people just are active, but what do you see at the end of the day? What is the outcome?
What's the result?
What are the results? And that's why you have to test it. And the things we're talking about here, I'm not saying they're easy things, but there are things that we have to look at. Yesterday I was watching a program, and it's this chocolate cakes and all this extreme chocolate cakes. And this company had been around 30 years. And they made a special cake for the MD CEO. And he was in an open plan office. And immediately I said, oh, gee, it's been a while that I've seen this open plan office where the MD CEO is in the midst of
Other people.
And that company was 30 years.
Whoa.
So it's not even a small company. That company had been in existence for 30 years. And as I was looking at it, I was thinking, it's been a long time that I've seen this, because again, I've been used to the different environment that we have here. So everything is a transition, but we have to ask ourselves, are we making the best of all the resources we have? Question mark. Are we getting the best out of people? Question mark. Would it work in this environment?
Would it? I was going to ask that. Would it work here? Would it actually work here?
I'm not sure. I can't sit here and tell you that it will work. Because in this environment, even when the MD CEO is not around, you don't find people in the workplace.
You are, now I want to use the urban parlance. You are shaking tables.
Most organizations, you go to once you know that the MDC is not around, most of the senior people are not on seat. So the question is, the fact that we're not sure does not mean that we should not be trying it in pilots, in stages, bits, and communicate with your employees that this is what we want to do. You see, I feel we're not communicating enough with our employees, and it's a personal thing. Because I get this notion that millennials are not finding it comfortable in the workplace, and we have to do things to make them comfortable, because they're the leaders of tomorrow. The baby boomers would exit, the Generation X would exit. So what is it? And how can we get the best out of them? We have to engage them constantly. How are we engaging the millennials? What do you want to see? How do you want things to change? Having said that, you find out that millennials too think they know it all, and they don't. So I need to say that.
Well, okay.
You have this notion that, oh, I know it, I know it.
Because there is information everywhere.
But you don't, because there's some things that are not taught in Harvard Business School. There are some things that you will not know until you experience it. And so we have those who are restless on one hand, and we have those who are docile on one hand. But how do we get the best? How do we create a bridge where we get the knowledge from one group and we get the experience from the other? And we merge the two to have a working environment.
I want us to talk about workplace and rest, workplace and fun.
Yes.
A lot of companies, when we were growing up, we never saw how important it was for companies to go and take rest, go together, take vacations, team bondings and all of that. But in this current dispensation, we see all of those things, but it's not everybody that does it. How can we inculcate that habit? Because according to what it has been said, when you're able to, apart from working together, if you're able to have fun together and relax together, you would have that bonding and push productivity. But how can employers inculcate that habit into their work system?
The truth of the matter is a forward-looking company should see the essence of retreats, team bonding sessions. There's no top organizations do it. And with my exposure with companies in Nigeria, I know more and more are doing it.
All right.
Integral to our role as HR consultants and all that, HR people within the workplace, is to make the workplace a place to be. A place to be. A place somebody wants to come to. If you Google the fun places to work, they are the top performers. Just Google it. And Google, we are using Google to Google something. Google is one of the fun places to work. But having said that, some organizations are catching on. And sometimes when you want to turn your company around, it's good to take the stakeholders out of the company to a place where you can sit down together, talk together, strategize together, and then go back again into the workplace to implement it. People have to understand that if people dread going to work every day, it hampers their productivity. I think we need to throw that out. And people have to create an environment that people are willing to come and work there. I need to say this too, because I have to look at a balanced way of looking at this conversation.
Yes.
It is tough doing business in Nigeria as we speak. And so energy is eating so much into the bottom line. I was speaking to a manager of a supermarket, and he was telling me that they spend 700,000 on diesel on a monthly basis. It's difficult for you to tell the owner of that business, go and do a team bonding session.
True.
So we have to be objective in all these things, because what presents itself to them is totally different from what presents itself to the organization, to the employees.
To the employees, yes.
Excuse me. So at the end of the day, our environment is a bit tougher to do business, because when you're thinking about energy, that an organization functions on having energy.
Yes.
And so if you have to pay for that, and don't forget, you are paying twice for it, or you have to invest. Yes. So it takes some employers a focus away from having to do these fun things because they are constrained. But if you want to get the best out of the organization, of the people that work for you, you have to relate to them. You have to take the stress busters away.
Many thanks for watching our video. I do hope you liked it. Join our YouTube family by clicking on the subscribe button, and of course do not forget the notification bell so you get a notification every single time we post a new video. Like, share, subscribe. Adios.
And because you have that luxury of not going out, it gives you an extra impetus to do more. The caveat though, and I have to be sincere here, is that we are in an environment that people are not disciplined.